Susan Myers, devoted FCCC early childhood education instructor, tragically passes by suicide in Defiance. Ohio family, community, and students mourn as mental health concerns rise. The small, close-knit community of Defiance, Ohio, is grappling with the heartbreaking loss of Susan Myers, a beloved educator who tragically died by suicide on October 18, 2024. Susan was a dedicated teacher in the Early Childhood Education (ECE) program at Four County Career Center (FCCC), where she had worked for several years, profoundly impacting her students, colleagues, and the entire community. Her sudden death has left a deep void in the hearts of those who knew her, and it has brought to light the growing need for mental health awareness and support within educational institutions. Susan Myers was known for her unwavering commitment to her students and her passion for teaching. As an instructor in the ECE program, Susan had a unique role in shaping the next generation of educators. She taught high school students who were training to become future teachers and caregivers for young children. Her lessons were not only about the curriculum, but also about instilling empathy, patience, and creativity qualities that are essential in early childhood education. Born and raised in Archbold, Ohio, Susan's roots in the local community ran deep. She attended local schools and eventually pursued a career in education, a field she was passionate about from a young age. Colleagues and students alike often spoke of her warmth, her sense of humor, and her ability to make learning both fun and meaningful. She was a teacher who went above and beyond, staying after class to help students, organizing extracurricular activities, and always being available to lend an ear or offer advice. Her colleagues at FCCC described her as an irreplaceable member of the team. Susan had this incredible ability to connect with everyone: students, teachers, parents. "She was someone you could always count on," said a fellow educator who had worked alongside Susan for nearly a decade. "She wasn't just a teacher. She was a mentor, a friend, and a guide for so many of us." Susan's work was especially impactful because of the nature of the students she taught. Many of them were preparing to enter fields that required a high level of emotional intelligence, patience, and care, such as teaching young children or working in childcare settings. Susan not only taught them the academic aspects of early childhood education, but she also modeled the personal qualities needed to succeed in those roles. Her dedication to her work was apparent to everyone around her. Former students often returned to visit her, sharing their successes and thanking her for the role she played in their lives. "Mrs. Myers was the reason I became a teacher," said one former student, who is now a kindergarten teacher. "She believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, and that made all the difference." The news of Susan Myers' death sent shockwaves through Defiance and surrounding communities. As word spread, tributes began pouring in from current and former students, colleagues, parents, and community members. Many took to social media to share their memories of Susan and express their grief. "Mrs. Myers was one of the kindest people I've ever met," one student wrote. "She was always there to listen and offer advice, no matter what was going on in her own life. I can't believe she's gone." Another student shared a story about how Susan had helped her through a particularly difficult time during her high school years. "I was really struggling with anxiety, and Mrs. Myers noticed right away. She took me aside after class one day and just talked to me. She didn't judge me. She didn't tell me what to do. She just listened. I'll never forget that." The Four County Career Center itself issued a statement on social media, acknowledging the profound loss and expressing condolences to Susan's family. Mrs. Myers was not only an exceptional educator, but also a kind and caring individual who will be dearly missed. Our thoughts and prayers are with her family and loved ones during this difficult time. We encourage anyone who is struggling to reach out for support, as we know this loss is deeply felt by many. The school also announced that grief counselors would be made available for both students and staff in the coming days. We recognize that this is a difficult time for many, and we want to make sure that everyone has access to the support they need, the statement read. Susan Meyer's death has sparked an important conversation about mental health, particularly within the teaching profession. Teaching is a rewarding but often stressful career, and the pressures that educators face can sometimes become overwhelming. From managing large classrooms to meeting the needs of diverse learners, educators are constantly navigating challenges that can take a toll on their mental and emotional well-being.